Ramsey linked back to Arsenal, Matteo Guendouzi tests positive, and Edu reportedly in talks with Aouar to see him at the club as soon as possible. Why not? It's the Arsenal Daily Transfer Update Show, where I bring you the latest transfer news around the Emirates Stadium. And what is transpiring, those are the three stories we are going to be talking about right now. However, I'll start with Matteo Guendouzi. It seems coronavirus has started hitting Arsenal. We were not really involved with the pandemic, apart from Mikel Arteta getting infected at the start, but we have not really been affected so much. However, after Kieran Tierney was involved in that scandal with Armstrong, now Hertha Berlin have also confirmed that our player who is on loan out there in Germany, Matteo Guendouzi, has also tested positive. I don't know what this means for the future of football, where this season is also going to stand still as last season, but there are so many signs that show that this season is not going to be as smooth as we all want it to be. Trust me, because there are so many players that are testing positive these days. Ronaldo yesterday but one tested positive. Matteo Guendouzi is testing positive. Some Scottish players tested positive as well. You remember in Genoa, almost 9 players for Genoa tested positive, so it's going to become a little bit more stressing for the season. But we pray that the season doesn't get cancelled, because if it does, then Euros are also going to get postponed further and further. Anyway, that is the update about Matteo Guendouzi. So he's affected. He's not an Arsenal player right now. He's out on loan with Hertha Berlin, but it has been confirmed that the player is positive with the COVID-19. However, let's get into the transfers right about now. We'll start with Aouar. Reports from France indicate that Edu is still talking to Lyon to see that they can actually get a deal between the two clubs and sign Aouar. The deal in the summer, you guys remember, it failed nearly. It nearly happened, but because of his brother and so on, the deal didn't happen. However, Edu, reports show that Edu is in talks. However, the brother is still committed to Lyon. His agent says the player should stay with Lyon for the rest of the season until the summer. Now, this is where problems come in, especially in such deals when when the agent is not so professional. And that I always hate such agents. My brother, my father is is the agent. Such problems are bound to happen. Such problems are really bound to happen. So Edu must be really working hard to get in Aouar. He tried his best in the summer. All of us know that he tried his best in the summer, but his summer was let down because the brother wanted a lot of agent fees. I think 10 million, and Arsenal were not really willing to give that much in agent fees right now. If we can convince Lyon and sign the player before we get a lot of competition, that would make more sense, because clearly Ozil is going to be leaving the club. Actually, by January, we shall know, we shall have known what the true position of Ozil is. Is he going to stay at the club? Is he going to leave? But of course, I believe by January he will have started talking to other clubs and so on. And so our role then will be trying to replace him. And I think what Eddie is doing, what Eddie is doing is right. If you have a player who's going to leave like Mesut Ozil, the best thing we have to do is to start negotiations for a player who can replace him. Aouar is a player of high top quality. That means he's going to have a lot of competition, so it's better you start the journey now. And I really love the plan. I really love the idea of Edu talking to Aouar and Lyon right now. Although we might not get him in the January transfer window, but it will look more promising in the summer. It will look more promising in the summer. Just imagine you go into the summer when you have already signed Aouar. That would be a master stroke. That would be a master stroke. That means we'll be only going for a forward, I think. Yeah, someone to replace Lacazette or Aubameyang, something like that. Then will be. I don't expect our January transfer window to be busy, but the summer, it's better we use the January transfer window to prepare for the summer. If there are some players that are going to leave in the January transfer window, we can just start their negotiations and deals so that by the time the summer arrives, we break the deal. So I think Aouar, I still get this feeling that Arsenal need this player. We want this player. Edu and Arteta are working so hard to sign the player, but I'm no longer 100% sure like I was in the summer when we were almost about to sign him. These days, if you ask me, am I sure? I can't say I'm really sure. But reports are there that Edu is still in talks with Lyon, and talks are still continuing to see that both sides can actually agree a deal. Reports are still coming out. Actually, if you look at all the other deals in the summer, they have died out apart from the Aouar deal. So probably something might happen. Then we are also linked with Emi Buendia, Norwich player. We have less than 24 hours, I think, to seal that deal, but I don't think it's going to be really happening. We've been linked with the player because we need that creativity, because there is that interest. But I don't think it's going to really be happening. If it's happened, then it might be in the January transfer window, or it might be in the next summer. But for right now, I don't think Arsenal is going to be adding in any other player. Now, the most interesting piece of story I have to talk about today is Ramsey back at Arsenal. Now, I'm just looking at one of the goals he scored for Arsenal in his career, a back heel, but it was really class, real class. And I still remember, he used to position himself in those kind of places, in those kind of positions. He used to score beautiful goals. So his links, again, there are reports showing that he might consider a move back at Arsenal if Arsenal is interested. He might be available. He left the club on a free transfer. He moved to Juventus. Of course, the grass wasn't, any greener. Pastures were not any greener. When he went to Juventus, he got the money, but playing time was not there. So his career seems to have, hit a dead wound, a dead end, like that. But I'm gonna ask you this: would you take him? Would you take him back at Arsenal? Would he be the player you would want to see sign for Arsenal at any point in time? I just want to know. For me, I think if we could just get him in this summer, it would have been a great addition. Yes, I know many Arsenal fans, have problems with him, the way he left and so on. We still wanted him. He left at a time when we wanted him most, but we didn't give him the money he wanted. He wanted the money, and that most players left the club because of the money. So we did give him the money he wanted. But clearly, if you look at Ramsey and what he can add to Arsenal, I would take him back. He could be a squad player. He could be even a starter, because in that Arsenal lineup, I would start him ahead of Danny Ceballos. I would start him ahead of Granit Xhaka. Real class. He's still class, and he's this kind of player we have groomed. He knows the Arsenal way of doing things. So if he came back, I think it would be a very great addition. I don't know what you guys think, but of course, like I say, I don't see Arsenal going for ex-players. There are very few ex-players that have come back at Arsenal. Thierry Henry, Manuel Flamini. You see, we had the chance to take back Cesc Fabregas from Barcelona, but Arsene Wenger was mad. He said the way he left, I just can't think about bringing him back. I still remember we had the chance to bring back Sombelong, but he went to West Ham and his career went to the dogs. So the way he left and all those circumstances, I don't see Aaron Ramsey really come back at Arsenal. He was left as a free agent. I don't think there are so many bad things we can hold against him. He was this player on the pitch who was useful. He had the output. He loved the club. I loved him as a player, and many Arsenal fans loved him. But I don't see him come back at Arsenal. Anyway, those are the three stories. Aouar talks still continue. Ramsey linked to Arsenal. And then, finally, Matteo Guendouzi gets coronavirus. Why not? I'll be joining you later for the Manchester City Arsenal preview, as well as other stories that will be cropping up on the Arsenal timeline.